The year is 1991, the start of the first Michael Jordan-led three-peat in an NBA, where punching the opponent was just a typical Monday night for the Detroit Pistons. But this 1991 looks different, with Zion Williamson now on the Charlotte Hornets roster, an era that suits him a lot better. The Pelicans don't exist yet, so Zion will now be surrounded by fellow high flyers Larry Johnson and Kendall Gill. The Hornets have decided that the best spot for 6'6" Zion Williamson is the starting center position against foes like Hakeem Olajuwon, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and Patrick Ewing on the regular. Zion leads the Hornets to a 43-39 record, landing the 7th seed with averages of 19 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 assists on a crazy 66% from the field. But their matchup in the first round is none other than Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls. Does rookie Zion have what it takes to take down the GOAT? The young Hornets core would prove they are gonna be good, but just aren't quite there right now, as they would take game 1 but then lose in 4 to the Chicago Bulls. But it wouldn't actually be the Bulls in the finals. The finals would be a Barkley-led 76ers against a Clyde Drexler-led Blazers, where in game 7, the round mound of rebound would sink both free throws to lead Philly to a game 7 win and his first NBA championship, but finals MVP would be Armin Gilliam. Jordan isn't off to a great start. So Zion's looking to get one upgrade right here. We have 25 possible. Let's go with number 15, where he gets every playmaking badge on silver. The Bullets luck into the first overall pick and draft none other than Shaquille O'Neal, and the Hornets land 7'3" center, who is a nobody. The Hornets have a big problem at the point guard position, as Tim Frazier just isn't it. But it wouldn't even matter, as the dunking trio would take over the NBA. All three of Larry Johnson, Zion, and Kendall Gill averaged 20 points per game, and over 4 assists, including 67% from the field out of Zion. And they didn't even need a competent PG to finish as the #1 seed in the NBA, a matchup against the defending champion Sixers in the first round, who lost Barkley and are now only led by Armin Gilliam. Zion's small ball would kill slow-footed Manu and lead to a 3-0 sweep, leading to a matchup against Steve Smith and Glenn Rice-led Miami Heat, who just got off of a Game 5 win over the struggling Chicago Bulls. And the Hornets take care of them in a quick sweep, meaning we now have a Zion Williamson versus Patrick Ewing Eastern Conference Finals, which turns into yet another sweep by the Hornets, but their matchup in the finals won't be a joke, as the Stockton and Malone duo is ready to take over, with Jordan and the Bulls out of the picture. But it wouldn't matter, because Zion and the Hornets would not only clear the Jazz in game 1, but would also easily win in game 2, and again in game 3, setting up the Hornets for a perfect playoff run. And now the Hornets in game 4 are up 5 with a minute left. Oh, Malone in the post. Oh, that's just way too easy. No defense down there. Oh, Zion coming to get the ball. Look at him bullying his way right to the paint. And one layup out of Zion. He's just shoving him. And after a big back and forth with a bunch of free throws between Malone and the Hornets, the Charlotte Hornets would come home with the W in 4, 119-113, bringing Zion and the Hornets their first NBA championship. And Zion will be receiving boost number 3, which is plus 10 to everything athleticism. The Nuggets would get the first round pick, taking Mashburn, and Penny Hardaway would still go to the Magic in number 2. In the offseason, the Hornets fixed their hole at PG and add Tim Hardaway, who was coming off of a 10-assist season last season, and signed sharpshooter Dal Ellis in place of Del Curry, meaning the defending champs are even better, and they would prove it. Zion makes his first All-NBA selection, as does Larry Johnson, and the team finishes 68-14, averaging the most points per game and highest field goal percentage thanks to Hardaway running the offense like a well-oiled machine. But the real test would come in the Eastern Conference Finals, against none other than MJ and Scotty, who were looking for redemption. Game 1 would go down as a Larry Johnson all-time performance, dropping 29, 17, and 12. Game 2 would be Jordan taking it personally and dropping 45 to secure game 2, and game 3 would be the greatest duo in history, combining for 70 points to secure a 2-1 series lead. But Zion would tie it up in game 4. The Hornets would then win back-to-back games, including a squeak-out win to move on to the finals, where they would see none other than another up-and-coming team in the Seattle Supersonics, led by Gary Payton and Sean Kemp. And alright, let's go. Hornets take game 1, game 2, game 3, and game 4. Let's see what it's going to be. And just like that, we have a 4-0 sweep again by the Hornets after 44 from Zion Williamson. They get their second straight championship, and Zion's second straight finals MVP, this time 76% from the field on 35 points. Not that he even needs it, but let's get Zion even better. Number 20 is a plus 25 to his 3. After hearing about Zion's improved shooting, the Charlotte Hornets decide to run it back, having another 68-14 season, rivaled only by the Chicago Bulls in their 63-19 season. But one thing would make this the best season so far. There it is, the first MVP out of Zion, and look at these averages: 31 points, 15 rebounds, and 6 assists on 70% from the field. And to make it even more interesting, they have a matchup in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Bulls yet again. But this time, Charlotte's up 3-1. And my God, the Hornets get out to a massive lead in the first quarter, and they literally do not look back. And the Chicago Bulls are eliminated, and Zion's going to his 3rd straight finals. On the other side, it would be Karl Malone and Stockton-backed Jazz meeting them again in the finals. And at this point, it's getting too easy as Zion is again up 3-0. But with a minute left in the 4th quarter, it's only a 3-point game. Oh, Ellis, little step back midi. That could have been a bucket. Addison, don't know when he got in the squad, but he gets an offensive rebound. He puts it back up for a 5-point lead. Oh, down to Malone. This should be easy. Oh, they're double teaming. He steps out of bounds. How do you let that happen, man? But despite a decent comeback attempt by Utah, it would be Charlotte winning again in the NBA Finals. Which also means Zion gets his 3rd straight Finals MVP and championship, but I have a surprise for him. You see, one thing I didn't tell you at the beginning of the video was anytime I feel like Zion's doing a little bit too good, whether it be an MVP or in this case a 3-peat, and I think he needs a bit more of a challenge, I'm going to be using this wheel to give Zion a new team. So, let's give him a new team. Now it's time to spin the team wheel, and Zion is going to be going to the Dallas Mavericks. And because we got to see what he gets for this season, he's going to be getting a +5 to everything on defense, which is, whatever. Heading to the Dallas Mavericks means Zion will now be teaming with LaFonso Ellis and Glenn Robinson, both rising stars in the NBA. Again, not having a point guard that great, Zion forces the Mavericks into making a move to sign Mark Price, who won't be Tim Hardaway playmaking-wise, but adds some crazy shooting. And there it is, another Zion MVP, slightly lower, only averaging 30 points, 13 rebounds, and 4 assists, but is now shooting 72% from the field and 50% from 3. This unreal. To everyone's surprise, Zion's move to a team that was near bottom of the conference last season would be the best decision he could make, with the Mavericks finishing as the #1 team in the West with a record of 78-4, clearing the current record for most wins. And he would, once again, face the Jazz, but this time in the second round of the playoffs. But now they have Big Shot Bob, and the Jazz will take game 1. But after that, the Mavs would move on to win in 6 games, moving on to face the Timberwolves, who they would also be in 6 games before going to the finals. But what happened in the East now without Zion? Well, the Hornets and the Bulls would make the Eastern Conference Finals, but without Zion, the Hornets were no match for a Jordan that is still ringless, making it another Zion versus Michael in the finals. The finals would start looking like the previous battles, with the teams trading the first 2 games, but you can't hold Zion out for long, and he would easily coast to a 4-1 victory over the Bulls yet again. But you know what happens now? Well, Zion won another MVP and Finals MVP, so now we have to spin the wheel, and it wasn't a hard enough challenge going to the Mavericks, so maybe the Timberwolves will be. Probably not. And you also can't forget about his big board. We'll go with number 13, where he's getting a +25 to his mid-range. The Timberwolves could be the best team Zion has ever been on, starting a real center in Alonzo Mourning and Clyde Drexler at the 2, and it should be no surprise what happens next, finishing another season 78-4, and matches up with Denver in the first round, who they beat 3-0. His old team Dallas is now in the second round, who they beat in 5, and in the Western Conference Finals, Zion would again take the Jazz to school, sweeping them, but now beating a new foe in the NBA Finals in the Toronto Raptors, who have nearly retired Magic Johnson, post-god Patrick Ewing, and perfect pick-and-roll partner for Magic in Shawn Kemp. Actually a god squad, and it's proving to be tough as the series is tied 2-2. But this is the greatest player of all time, currently Zion Williamson. Don't count them out. Now, Zion hasn't had the greatest series, but his insane teammates have been playing great for him. But it's Zion, you know he's going to turn up. Just kidding, the Raptors take Game 5, but the Wolves would tie the game and send it to the first Game 7 of Zion's career. Well, I was hoping I could say this was close, but it looks like Zion is taking this one 147-129, 38-10 out of him, and another championship and another Finals MVP. But actually, I think a career low in the Finals, only 62% from the field. Now Zion has 6 championships on 3 different teams. Let's see if he can do it on 4. This time we'll give Zion his upgrade first. We'll go with number 24, where we get to max out his postgame, 99 everything there. And for the random team spin, Zion is now going to be a Golden State Warrior. The Warriors' only notable player is rookie Stephon Marbury, who is not a great fit for Zion, as Marbury prefers to shoot every shot instead of winning games. But this is Zion Williamson, carries teams now for a living and leads the Warriors to a record of 59-23, good enough for the 3rd seed. Alright, matchups yet again, Seattle for Zion, but let's see if he's got it again. Boom, easy sweeps out of Zion Williamson right there. Bunch of people getting knocked out, but not bad. We got the Lakers yet again for him. Wow, and they get swept. First time Zion hasn't been in the finals since his rookie season. And a Zion-less finals could only mean one thing. We're in Game 4 of the NBA Finals. Score tied 98-98. Less than 20 seconds left on the clock. In Toronto, they're up 3-0. It's 98-98. Game 4 of the Finals. Toronto is up 3-0. Oh my god, he's wide open. Karl Malone's got it. Oh my god, he misses it. Gets his own board though. Kicked it out to Ewing. He's only got 2 seconds. He's got to do something. Hakeem from 3. Oh my god, they sold that so bad. But despite trying to sell the game, Gary Payton would sink both free throws and win Toronto their first NBA championship, only a few years after coming into the NBA. And the funniest part about this is that Scottie Pippen is winning an NBA championship before Michael Jordan. No MVP for Zion means he's running it back with Marbury and the Warriors, but they make some major moves in the offseason, signing Hakeem hot off his championship with the Raptors and a sharpshooter Reggie Miller, who should provide some great spacing for the team. And it's exactly what happens, as in the final season of the 90s, Zion would finish the season averaging 28 points and 14 rebounds on 71% from the field. Reggie would pitch in 22 a night on 47% from 3, but they weren't the star of the season despite a 69-13 record. Hold up, the Vancouver Grizzlies finished 76-6, but the Raptors are 79-3, meaning there was a team with 69 wins, 63 wins, 76, and 79. The Raptors, Van Exel, Scottie, Karl Malone, Ewing, Alonzo Mourning, now Larry Johnson. These guys are the best team ever created. Oh lord. Zion would match up against the 76-6 Grizzlies in the Western Conference Finals with a date with the Raptors on the line. Okay, so that's why the Grizzlies are as good as they are. Kenny Anderson, MJ, Jamal Mashburn, Sharif Abdul-Rahim, and Shaquille O'Neal on the same team. Zion did what he could, but the insane scoring duo of Jordan in the mid-range, Shaq absolutely taking over in the paint, was just too much for the Warriors. Oh, and it looks like we actually have a close game between the two best teams ever created. Okay, Scottie's trying to cook up himself on, I think, Jamal Mashburn. What is that? Scottie, thank God you got Alonzo Mourning to pick up the pieces. It's still only a 3-point game. Oh, they're wasting too much time. They give it back to Alonzo Mourning to who bricks the layup. Yep, that's it. And that would wrap it up as the Vancouver Grizzlies would win the final NBA championship of the 90s, and MJ would finally bring home a ring in the Zion era. If you like watching the best to ever do it compete, maybe watch this video where LeBron and Jordan both compete against each other to be the first to win 6 NBA championships.